One UEFA Super?
Two Super Cups. UEFA Cup, Champions League. Do you count Charity Shields? I don't never know if you fucking count them. They fucking do now, don't they?
The lost penny lane, football on the brain, the stew called Scouse, Lacoste, North Face or Berghaus. It's the Scouse House, it's the Scouse House.
Big thanks to one of our supporters. It's Kingfisher Carpets and Artificial Grass. It's open now at Kingfisher Business Park in Bootle, Liverpool's newest carpet and artificial grass showroom. They've got a website, of course they have. It's kingfisher-carpets.co.uk, and on Instagram, it's kingfisher.carpets. It's still summertime. Why not get yourself some artificial grass for the front lawn there? Really low maintenance. And make the garden look spick and span. Be the talk of the town. Get in touch with Kingfisher Carpets and Artificial Grass.
Okay, welcome back to the Scouse House podcast. And I am so excited today because what a guest we have got. A man sat in front of me who literally needs no introduction. It's Jamie Carragher, everybody.
Yeah, I think the laugh give it away.
Hello, everybody. It's Jamie Carragher in the studio. I will give him an introduction, though. 737 appearances for Liverpool, 3 Player of the Season awards, 3 League Cups, 2 FA Cups, 2 UEFA Super Cups, and who could forget, 1 UEFA Champions League. All-time record appearance holder in Europe for Liverpool FC. Jamie, you finished playing 10 years ago. Just this last week gone. Does it feel like that long ago, that career?
No, it's flew by. But I think you always say that at the end, don't you? You know, people always say your school years fly, but they don't say that when it's 1:30 in geography on a Wednesday afternoon. You're thinking, fucking get me out of here. But no, after the 10 years, yeah, I can say it's gone quickly, but it does feel like a long time ago that I was playing. And yeah, I wouldn't say I've missed it massively. I mean, I missed the big games and think, oh, I'd love to have played in that game, but I'm quite proud of the fact that I've just cracked on, you know, and I don't sort of look back too much. It's nice to talk about, you know, old games and things, but I just love and get excited about what I'm going to do going forward.
You've done lots of things going forward in that 10 years since, and we'll definitely get into some conversation about that. But let's start at the beginning. Let's remind anyone that doesn't know where Jamie Carragher is from in Liverpool. Whereabouts, mate?
Bootle, yeah, that'll never change, obviously. But no, I live in Crosby now, so I moved out to Bootle about probably 20 years ago, in my early 20s. Moved out to my mum's, but my mum's still in the same house that I can remember where I was in all my life on Knowsley Road, and my mum's still there. She'll never move. I mean, initially we were in a house just off Marsh Lane and in Beach Street. I think till I was 2 or 3 or something like that, but I can't remember that. So we've always been in that Bootle area. That's where my mum and dad grew up. And my mum's never moved, never will. And yeah, I mean, I'll end up living in, you know, Crosby, I don't know, 40, 50, 60 years really, but whenever I get asked that question, it'll always be Bootle.
It'll always be Bootle. And now you've got the freedom of Sefton, I believe, it's part of your Champions League heroics.
Yeah. I mean, it's lovely to have. It's nice. Thanks very much.
What does it get you?
It doesn't pay the parking fines. I mean, I've never seen more traffic wardens in anywhere than in Crosby in my life. I mean, it's off the scale.
Well, you can park outside mine if you want, mate.
Yeah, that'll do me. I'd love just somewhere to park where I wouldn't have to be running out when I'm just having a little bite to eat and I've got to run out there and have an argument with a traffic warden. Yeah. And he's saying he's already done it when he hasn't.
Sefton Council, just listen to the man. He's got the freedom of the place. Cancel the fines. Okay, Jamie, we know Bootle then, and I think a lot of people knew that you're synonymous with Bootle and obviously Liverpool. And on the Scouse House podcast, we're talking to people from Liverpool, Merseyside, or people who've moved to the city and the connection there. And I don't think there's any more higher profile player really in terms of Bootle certainly as a place in Liverpool than yourself. I wanted to ask you sort of when you were growing up, playing football down in your local youth club, the Brunswick, and that's where you first started cutting your teeth as a player.
Yeah, I mean, the Brunny's been there since the 60s, so my dad tells me he actually went in as a kid the first day it opened, or the first night it was open, so there's a big tradition of us as a family using the Brunny. So it's still going strong now. We have a big part still to play in it in terms of, I wouldn't say keeping it running, but helping out with different things that we can do. But yeah, there's two memories I have as, when you talk about the first time you kicked the ball, the two memories that really stand out for me, one of them is in the Brunny, basically, and me standing at the side of the gym, and my dad asking lads who were probably about 4 or 5 years older whether I could play and join in. And I can still remember my dad asking and them saying yeah, and probably thinking, oh, you know, a young kid playing with us, you know, because we're all like that, aren't you? You know, they're a bit too old, knocking me about, and not as good as them. So I can just remember that, going on in the gym in the Brunny.
Well, funny enough, I remember your lad playing in the Brunny as well in like one of the men's games of an evening. So yeah, these things come.
Yeah, you got to sort you out, don't it?
Come full circle, don't they? Yeah, and you do. I actually remember. You may remember this game. We played a couple of times in the Brunswick. Really intense. Some of the most intense 5-a-side matches you'll have ever seen. It's two goals or 5 minutes, roll on, roll off. They're the rules, aren't they? And I know there was a game when you turned up, and also your brother John turned up, and I got the sense, and I don't know if you felt this too, but sometimes, say if you rocked up, people would just raise the game, right? But then I thought, because John was there, you raised your game as a sort of a sibling rivalry type thing. Honest to God, it wasn't a friendly kick about that game.
No. It's quite aggressive. I had to stop playing 5-a-side. I get too wound up. Yeah. There's always someone, as I said, you know. People waste time in 5-a-side. Honest to God. You go for 5-a-side to have a sweat on, and then someone goes 1-0 up front and they start just passing it back to the keeper. I'm like, what the fucking hell's going on here? And I say, oh, fuck this, I'm off.
Yeah, well, you called my dad Tony Pulis.
He's the ringer, isn't he?
So it must have been him.
Yeah, it must have been him, yeah.
For long throws.
Yeah. You want me to laugh on that, yeah. Like and subscribe to the Scouse House. Do it now.
We talked about the Brunswick there, but obviously as well, when you're growing up, obviously school must have been a big part of your, you know, playing sports, certainly in football with the school and youth teams and stuff like that. Just for anyone that doesn't know, which schools did you go to?
St James, which is over the road from the Brunny, on Marsh Lane. So went there. Obviously, that's me other time I can remember playing football for the first time was at the school. It was in I think we would have been 7, and the teacher, the first time we must have played as a class, we didn't have a game. We just had there's a goalie, and then the rest of us just play. And the year above us were playing like an 8-a-side on the next pitch. So the teacher was keeping an eye on both games. He was watching their game, refereeing it, and then coming over to us every 10 minutes, just making sure no one was fighting, basically. And then I just remember him coming over, and he just said to me, you can come on this other pitch. So straight away, I just got moved onto this other pitch to play with the year above. And that's sort of a vivid memory along with the Brunny. So that was St James's. The headmaster was a guy called Mr. Roach, but obviously John Roach sadly passed away, but he was a massive Evertonian, and he used to go to the game, as I did as a kid. So I used to always it was like a big thing to bump into your head teacher at the match. It was like, oh my God, there's Mr. Roach. So he'd be at the game. So he was a big football fan. So it was always...
You didn't see teachers as real people outside?
No, exactly, you didn't, did you? You're just thinking, oh God, no. But it'd be like a big thing, running back telling your dad, oh, my dad, yeah, Mr. Roach's over there. You know, as if he's like this godlike figure, you know what I mean? When I see him Monday morning. But no, so that told you that, you know, football was going to play a big part, certainly in the school, because of the head teacher that we had.
And then that was senior school? Or
no, that was junior school. And then we went to Savio, formerly Silesia, when it was all boys, Savio, when obviously the girls came. And I was only there for 3 years before I went to Lilleshall. So the majority of my school life, when I remember school, I would say St James, which was, I don't know, what is it, 4 till 11, 7 or 8 years. So, and then 3 years at Savio. I mean, again, another teacher who I still keep in contact with now, Mr. Dickinson. He was from a football background. He was a physio, and he was the physio for England's schoolboys. And they used to play games live on TV. So once a year, we'd see our school teacher running on with like the Booker and the sponge, and so that made him a bit of a someone, if you like. So he played a big part in me and my football sort of development in secondary school as well.
You mentioned a moment ago Lilleshall, and for people that don't know, what was Lilleshall and how did it come about?
Just a football school, really, for the best 16 kids in the country at a certain age. When you were 14, your last 2 years of school, you basically moved away from home, and you would be in with a group of 16 of your age, and there'd be a year above you who was 16. So it was 32 lads basically living in some dorm and training every night, going to a local school and representing England. And then the following year we'd be the seniors, and then another group had come underneath us. So it was a brilliant 2 years. Still keep in contact now. We're on a group chat. The real class of 92, because that was the year that we went, 92 to 94. So we had a night out. So that was the 25-year reunion. They all come to Liverpool, and we had a couple of nights. Yeah, I mean, they all stayed in the hotel, I didn't, and I just meet them for a couple of nights. And after the first night, I've gone home, and then we met up again in the afternoon for the next night. We went to Bongo's Bingo, and next thing I turn up the next night, fucking one lad with a black eye, another fella, honest to God, fucking mouth all over the place. What happened there? So we got fucked on the way home.
Must have bumped into your mates. Listen, Jamie, so you've taught Lilleshall there and some of the people, but that must have been the first time that you've moved away from Liverpool and your family. Any trepidation about doing that at the time?
No, I mean, it's the first time I've ever done it. You know, I was lucky in my professional career, never had to move at all. But no, I couldn't wait to go. Nothing against my parents, but no, it was just that excitement of, wow, I'm seen as one of the best players in the country. Because at that age, you don't know if you're going to fully make it. We all believe we are, but you don't know players, how good they are around the country. And you had that thing of playing every night with the best players in the country. I just had my head on football. It wasn't about going there and school-wise or nothing like that, or how it's going to affect me education-wise, leaving me school. It was all about, you know, I'm playing with the best players in England every day.
And do you think, like, sort of touching on the Liverpool thing and the Scouser thing, do you think there's a little bit of inherent confidence that came with going down there and like showing what you could do and, you know, sort of not? Yeah,
I think we've all got a little bit of that, most of us, a little bit of cockiness, and I don't know if cockiness is the right word. I don't know what the right word is. It's just us, isn't it? You know, we're always quite chirpy on the front foot. I think if you had a group of people and there was a Scouser in there, the Scouser, I think, would always be playing a prominent part in that group. They just would. You know, that's a football team, a school class, or people put together. Me going to Lilleshall, we're not shrinking violets, are we? You know, you'd always be heavily involved in shenanigans or whatever it was, laughing and joking, standing up for yourself, whatever it is. That's something that's bred into us. So I was no different at Lilleshall.
Well, one of the things we had you do, Jamie, before you came in, you picked your all-time Scouser 11, and we're gonna throw that graphic up so people can see some of the picks there.
Goalkeepers, I think, is always a hard one, but it's got to be Tommy Lawrence, hasn't it?
Tommy Lawrence.
Yeah.
Remember
just for the interview.
The interview. If anyone
was that Church Street? It looked like it was Church Street to me.
If anyone hasn't checked that interview out, what was the reporter was asking someone if they remembered the time in 1965 when Liverpool won the FA Cup, and he asked an old gent in Liverpool City Centre, does he remember it? I played in it. Tommy Lawrence is in, goalkeeper, number one. You must have played, by the way, with some mad goalies. He was the best goalie you played with.
Pepe Reina was the best one I played with. That was when we were at our best, I think, under Rafa Benitez. And he could have played today. I mean, he still is playing today, but he could have, what he was doing then would transfer into playing today. He could brilliant with his feet. Yeah, so he'd been absolutely fine playing for, Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool right now.
Great stuff. Sticking with the Merseyside team.
Right back, I will go for Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's probably not even halfway through his career, but he's won everything already.
He's the Scouser in the team.
The Scouser
well, actually,
in the
there's
team.
a few in this one, but you know, you get the point.
Well, you asked me, should I put myself in?
Did I?
Well, yeah, you encouraged me to, shall we say. So I thought, fuck it, I'm going in.
I think you deserve a place in that team, Jamie.
Yeah. So I've put myself in.
Did you have to put yourself as captain, though? I don't think I mentioned it.
Oh, no, I think someone in midfield might be captain of the
all right,
team.
then. So
I'm in, and then I had a toss-up between Phil Thompson and Tommy Smith. I'm going to go for Phil Thompson. Obviously, worked together when he was a coach at the club, lifted the European Cup as a local lad, so pretty special. Left back, I'm going to go with Leighton Baines.
Everton?
I think one of the best left backs the Premier League seen. You look at the goals he scored, penalties, free kicks, assists as well. He was a brilliant part of that David Moyes team. I'm going to start from right midfield. I'm going to go Ian Callaghan, who was the record appearance maker for Liverpool ahead of myself. He's won every trophy, starting the second division with Liverpool and ended up winning the European Cup. So he's got to go in, and a lovely fella. Steven Gerrard, I think the greatest player to ever play for Liverpool, and I would say the greatest player to play in this team. I would say someone may be debating that when I get to the strikers.
Has he got the armband, by the way?
Steven Gerrard's Capitano, yes, he's him. Next to him is Peter Reid, another Heaton fella, same as Stevie. I watched him growing up as an Everton fan. He was a mainstay of that Everton team that won 2 titles. He got PFA Player of the Year in 1985, so he goes in. On the left, I'm going to put Steve McManaman, who was a great player for Liverpool in the start of the Premier League. Right, you know, he was one of the best players in the Premier League. The best players in the world more often than not go to Real Madrid and Barcelona. Stevie went on a Bosman. I think he was one of the first Bosmans. So I think it was a little bit of ill feeling, I would say, I think, from Liverpool supporters, which I thought was a little bit unfair. Because I think in some ways you can accept, or certainly I could as a Liverpool player, when I saw players leaving the club, if it was going to Real Madrid or Barcelona, you could almost go, I get it. I understand it. Whatever you say about the Premier League right now, it's the biggest league or the best league. For a lot of footballers, and not just foreign players, even players in this country, the pinnacle is playing for a Barcelona or a Real Madrid. You know, those teams, historic clubs. So, and to go there and win 2 European Cups, I mean, it's pretty special. You know, a local lad. So, as I said, great admiration for him.
So Mac is in?
And then it's Wayne Rooney's got to go in, of course.
Wazza?
Wazza.
Did you ever call him that?
No.
Just a tabloid nickname, is that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was his nickname at Man United and stuff like that, but I wouldn't call him that.
We were talking about street footballers before. Is he the epitome of a street footballer?
I would think so, yeah. I think there's an interview from David Moyes where he said even when he was in the first team, he'd get reports that after games, he'd be going on and playing football in the street. Yeah. But he was still only 16, wasn't he? When he was in the Everton first team. I mean, yeah, as I said, I've said Stevie's the best player in this team, but listen, it's a toss of a coin. I mean, to have 2 players of that quality come out of this city is pretty special. I mean, for me, they're the 2 best English players, I don't know, for the last 30, 40 years.
When you heard about this guy, Rooney, coming through at Everton, obviously you're playing, presumably at Liverpool, and you talked before about rumours around football. Were you hearing this guy's going to be special, and did we a little bit... I wish he'd have come on the other side of the park.
Well, to be honest, I'd heard his name a little bit, but he introduced himself to me, and this was in a nightclub in the state nightclub. He must have been about 20. He's probably only been about 14.
Okay,
but
he looked about 40.
Yeah, and he come up to me. Yeah,
what did he say?
I mean, he was quite funny. He was, I'm Rooney. I'm Rooney. You know, it's like, watch out for me or something. I don't know exactly what it was along them lines, but it was like he was just being his typical mischievous self, Wayne. But he was a typical Scouser on the front foot, fancied himself. And why not when you've got ability like that?
Exactly. And then?
It's got to be Robbie Fowler, hasn't it? When what his nickname was God. With the Liverpool fans, I think still is. And because that team of Stevie Mac and Robbie didn't go on to win a league title or a European Cup, maybe not remembered as good as they should be, or in terms of the team that they played in, because the team was a great team. Some of the football that they played in, McManaman and Fowler combined, and was absolutely fantastic. You think of what Robbie did in those first 3 or 4 years at Liverpool, and it was just, sometimes it's all about time. And you see this team now, and obviously they've won the league, but you can't tell me that the front 3, in the pomp were better than Robbie Fowler. Yeah, I'm not saying Robbie was better than them, but it's like, Robbie could have played in that. So if he'd have been there when Jurgen Klopp was there, I don't even think of that myself or Stevie or different players. Sometimes it's about being in the right place at the right time. And, I could argue I was in the right place at the right time and I played with Steven Gerrard.
Yeah.
Because without him, I don't think I'd have won the trophies I won. So sometimes, you just, as I said, you're there at that moment in time when everything just aligns together. And probably Steve McManaman and Robbie were just a little bit unfortunate that, that Liverpool team at that time just wasn't the Liverpool team that it became years later or was just before that.
And I don't want to spend too much time on this, but that tag of Spice Boys, was that unfair, or was there a little bit of truth certainly in some of the other players in that mix? Maybe not Robbie and
I think it was a little bit unfair because I think what these young lads were doing, and don't think the Premier League explodes, the money explodes, you've got all those lad magazines loaded and all this, and OK magazines, that everything was just like at that time. What was it? What was that era called? Britpop or something, all the Oasis, and it was just like everyone was doing that or whatever what that was. Going out with models or going to London nightclubs or dressing in a certain way, whatever that may be. Liverpool weren't any different to anyone. It was just that Liverpool didn't win. That's what it is. And you also have to say, I'm trying to defend them, but wearing the white suits was... Who can forget? It always put them in a difficult place to argue the point when they come out in those white suits, to be honest.
The cream Armanis.
Yeah, but I think when you're looking at the full package of the time that team were together, played some unbelievable football, very close to winning big trophies. But as I said, it's just, when you win, you can do whatever you want. When you lose, that's when people start pointing the fingers.
Some team that, by the way, is it not, JB?
Yeah, that's beating the Manc team or the Cockney team, or whatever team, yeah. Let's get all these together.
And who's managing that rabble?
I've gone with Joe Fagan, who only managed Liverpool for 2 seasons, but in his first season won a treble of the League Championship, European Cup, famously in Rome on penalties against Roma. And
the Scouser.
And won the Milk Cup again, from Bootle, I think, and won the Milk Cup against Everton, I think, with Graham Souness scoring the winner at Main Road.
Amazing.
Yeah. Smoking Joe.
Why do you think there is so many good players, football players from Liverpool?
I think there's 2 reasons. I think that the first reason is I think we have a passion for the game that is unmatched throughout the country. I really do believe that. I think every dad in the city who, has a son, dreams of a son playing for Liverpool or Everton. And I don't think that'll ever change. I think both football clubs will always produce players coming through the ranks. And I also think the actual character and personality of people of this city, what I've just mentioned before, in terms of we stand up for ourselves, we believe in ourselves, we'll always have a big role in a team, I would say. And you'll always be noticed. I used to say that to my own son when he was playing. Make sure people notice you. Now, it could be your footballing ability, it could be talking, it could just being loud, being aggressive, whatever it could be. Make sure you make an impression on people. I think we do that in the main, in the city that we're from. It's a bit like, I'm going to have a good go. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I'm not going to die trying.
Yeah.
So we're going to have a good go. And I just think that personality, really. And I think if you was a football team, or it's even like a non-league team, and you weren't from Liverpool, I'd always think, I'd want a couple of lads from Liverpool in my team. Just that personality, the mentality, just the way we are, plus obviously the passion for the game, I think means we'll always, breed some of the best, players this country has ever seen.
One of the things we talked about before we came on was the sort of lack of goalkeepers, particularly from the Liverpool area. We sort of stumbled upon that as we were talking it through. Do you have any theories on why that might be?
I just think maybe, are we all bullies a little bit? We just put, who's the soft back? You get in goal. It's just that one, isn't it? It's not even like put a good lad in goal. It's just, oh, fuck off, you're going in goal. It is, isn't it? Yeah. It is, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. So he doesn't want to be there. He doesn't even want to play. He just wants to be with a few of the big lads, and he's just got to go and goal. And he's going to get blamed if you get beat.
Roy Keane quite often at the moment gets credited with the line, basically that's his job. Now, I actually believe that it was you, Jamie Carragher, who created that "that's your job" line about goalkeepers, and particularly about goalkeepers flipping on centre backs for letting the striker get a shot off. So are you a little bit sort of harsher on goalkeepers? Do you think?
Yeah, I mean,
than average,
and where that came from is basically, I used to hate people saying he was a good shot stopper, and I'm like, oh my fucking God, he's a good shot stopper. I fucking hope so. That is like the most basic requirement of a goalkeeper. He's not good at stopping shots. What is he doing in the goal? Talk about using his feet, communication, catching, whatever. That's the base. I mean, he's a good shot stopper. Which one isn't a good shot stopper? Every goalkeeper gets described as a good shot stopper.
I think Liverpool have had a few who might have been...
well, may not come into that category. And then goalkeepers coming out screaming, shouting when they have to make a save. It's like, I mean, could you imagine having to play in front of Jordan Pickford? I watch him now for Sky and I'm like, honest to God, me and him would be boxing every game. Just get back in goal and shut up. Honest to God.
We got Gareth, the Everton fan, in the studio here, just keeping his counsel.
Where is he? He's hard behind the screen. Do you agree with me?
He's not an easy guy to play with, I'd say.
Yeah, honestly.
Just move that back, just in case it's in the way. Leighton Baines, he went to Everton, of course. When he went there, Jamie, I mean, is he an example of a player who you looked at from across the park there and thinking he would have been perfect for Liverpool?
Yeah, I think he was a great player, certainly for Everton. Obviously, I think he was at Everton as a youngster. Went to Wigan, did really well at Wigan, got that move. I didn't think he got in the team initially when David Moyes first brought him, but I think when you look at the numbers he got, assists-wise, free kicks, taking penalties, he's probably one of Everton's best players in the Premier League era, right up there, probably in the top 3 or 4. He was as good as anything when he was at his peak in the Premier League, probably battling with Ashley Cole to be the best left-back, but, Ashley Cole was something special. But when you actually look at Leighton Baines' numbers, I think they surpass Ashley Cole in certain categories in terms of what he provided assist-wise and goals-wise. So, yeah, he had to go in, definitely, at left-back.
Yeah, and we had McManaman in the team, and one thing I wanted to ask you about there is he obviously moved away from Liverpool himself and took quite a big move to Real Madrid. That worked out very, very well indeed for him in terms of certainly trophy success and so on. Obviously, that's not something you did. You're renowned as a one club man. Do you ever look back on sort of any opportunity of what it would have been like to play abroad or for another club?
I mean, I think it'd be lovely now to say, I played for a Real Madrid, or you played for an AC Milan, or, whatever it may be. I think it'd be nice to say that, really. But nothing like that ever came up for me. I wasn't at the level to play for a Real Madrid or a Barcelona. They take the best players in the world. They go to Liverpool. They even go to United and just go, Ronaldo, we'll have him, basically. And, Maka went there on a Bosman. Did brilliant, won 2 Champions League trophies, played a major part in one of them, getting a goal as well. So it was a brilliant move for him. I mean, to have that as in the CV, Liverpool and Real Madrid, on as I said, on your CV is pretty special to the giants of European football. But no, I'm delighted I was a one-club man. I think that for me is pretty special. There's very few of them in the past, and there'll be even fewer, I think, in the future. So it's a nice little tag to have. Yeah,
and up top we had what a combination. We had Rooney just in behind. One, Mr. Robbie Fowler. 2 examples, would you say, of street footballers?
Yeah, 100%. I think Robbie came into the game just before almost when the Premier League started, wasn't it? Really, I think Robbie came in then. And was just a revelation. He was just unfortunate as time moved on. He had a few injuries as well, which didn't help. But when you look at those first 3 or 4 years of Robbie Fowler, I mean, it's pretty unbelievable, actually. When we talk of some of the young players that are coming through now, we talk about the superstars, and Rooney would be one of those when he came through. Very few can match Robbie Fowler in terms of his numbers and the goals, and 30 goals a season for 3 years, really. And as I said, he was just a little bit unfortunate with injuries that sort of maybe scuppered him being a one-club man. At Liverpool, Gerard Houllier came in, and obviously things changed for him. if you're a Liverpool supporter, you're not going to go into town on a Saturday night and bump into a Liverpool player. That used to happen. Guilty.
Did he ever come for you, Bellamy?
I think we had a couple of little ones, a little bit of banter.